Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode on the Red Table Podcast. I'm your host, Tina Rope, and today we are joined by youth from the Motherland Initiative, and we'll give them a chance to introduce themselves and tell us more about the initiative. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Madam Tina. We are pleased to be with you today at Red Table Podcast. My name is Luny Chandeng. I am the chairperson of One Motherland Initiative, a former student at the University of Nairobi. I did finance. I am here with my colleagues. Maybe they can say a word.
Good afternoon. My name is Silvia. I'm a medical student at UN, and I'm also a youth activist, and I love One Motherland Initiative.
My name is Rian, aka Mobutu Seseseko. I'm a student at the University of Nairobi pursuing political science, conflict and peace studies. And we are members of One Motherland Initiative, mainly preaching peace and advocating for youth involvement in leadership. And also, I'm a political commentator.
You guys are welcome. So tell us more about the Motherland Initiative. What is it about mainly?
One Motherland Initiative, mainly it's about peace, unity, unification of the nation. South Sudan is a country that is made up of 64 communities, and we felt it's our duty as youth to come together and unify the nation. The country right now, it's at the edge of breaking apart. So we felt it's up to us to bring our fellow youth together and elders.
So when was it started?
It was formed 1 year ago, 2024, by my friend Luny. He introduced the idea to me, and I saw it's something that deserves to be supported, and I was convinced by his explanation and the ideas that he had.
So tell us, Luny, how did you just come up with it?
Thank you once again. I came up with the initiative named One Motherland. I saw a need that what is destroying our country was not actually that we are lazy people. What was destroying our country was tribalism. And we came up with One Motherland Initiative to be like the bridge, the gap that was between the government and the people, so that we can unite and tell our people that we have a lot that we need to do for our nation. Whether you are from Denka, from Nuer, from Kakuma, from Shuluk, we are all South Sudanese. South Sudan is a country, it's a big family. That's why I always say that as a nation, we are 64 tribes, and we are under the motherland that is called South Sudan. That's why we came up with One Motherland Initiative to embrace peace and harmony, that we stay together as one people and move our country forward.
So how did you come up with the word One Motherland?
One Motherland. Yeah, thank you. The word One Motherland has a very, very big meaning. Based on our national anthem, there is within our standards, there's a line that says that we bow to protect our nation. We bow to protect our motherland. This word gives me the idea that motherland, we know the love of a mother. That's why we say the grace of a mother, the love of a mother. That's why we came up with the name One Motherland, that to show love just the same way our mothers loved us. That is why we came up with One Motherland, that we show love to one another, that we be as the children of one mother. So motherland meaning the love of our mother. That is the love of our nation that we have in our hearts. Wherever you are, many of us, I know we love South Sudan. So that is the same love Today, if you have your own mom and maybe she's in Canada and you're in Kenya, your mom will always be your mom. That's why we say South Sudan will always be our motherland. That's why we have the name One Motherland.
So let's talk about like the current situation back home. So what would you tell it? What would you say about it?
I would say the current situation that it is never permanent. Everything will come to an end. We are like a young child, just barely 14, actually a teenager who is just 14 years old. That as we grow, we come along other challenges. And we are ready to face those challenges. And the situation we have back home is a matter of time. I believe it's a matter of time. We are far better than the way we were 3 years ago. We are far better than the way we were 2 years ago. But if there is where we are going wrong, that is what we are going to work on as this generation actually. So the suffering that we have back home, no one is happy about the suffering. But we believe everything will come to an end. That's why we have the One Motherland Initiative. We bring together this young generation and tell them the suffering has been too much. Nowadays we don't cry because when the pain is too much, only tears can show that pain. Many of us, we don't cry. But the tears that we have, the blood, the tears that are in our hearts, not in our eyes. So that's why the situation will soon come to an end. I would say that. But it needs hard work from the young generation. We are very resilient people, very strong. But if we work together, we can eradicate all this suffering.
Really? So, sister, what would you say about the situation also?
The situation at South Sudan at the moment is disheartening. But I believe that the youths are the solution to South Sudan. Because at now, everybody is educated, majority of us. And those yet to be educated have siblings, maybe older than them, who are educated. So what we should do now is reach out to every individual. Be a kind person. Reach out to someone. Especially we've seen the situation also in Kakuma. You reach out to someone. If you have plenty, give without wanting to know where is this person from. Because as one motherland, you know the nature of a mother. She's caring. And a mother never discriminates against her own. So no matter the situation, whether you are disabled, whether you are in what current situation, you should know that there are people who have been put in places to reach out to you. And don't be ashamed. What is eating up South Sudan is that most of us are ashamed. And we are scared of taking up these small opportunities, job opportunities and spaces in South Sudan. You'll want to see that every person wants to work in the office. Everybody wants to be a white collar person just for the name. What about these market women? What about this small business? Put your garment on and start from where you can. Yeah? You start from where you can. And we've seen Kenyans, how they are upholding their nation. They complain there are no jobs, but you'll never hear that there's a Kenyan going hungry because if he or she comes to the TikTok and cries, there are people stand up. They do everything. So as a South Sudanese, it's not that we're going to be beggars, yes, but let's see you do something and have that courage to speak about your situation. Don't be scared. Don't let suicide or mental health or depression take charge. Speak up. And there's someone somewhere who will be touched by your story, who will be touched by your situation and will do something. And if they don't give you what you want, they'll give you words to motivate you. That's all I can think for now.
On that, on One Motherland Initiative, we are also trying to mobilize youth to be able to love their nation. As we speak right now, you'll find out that South Sudanese also youth are dying in the Mediterranean Sea, trying to swim the other side to be able to look for opportunities abroad. These are the things that we want to change. South Sudan is a country with opportunities, rich with natural resources, blessed with water from the Nile. So everything is in South Sudan, and the solution will come from South Sudanese, not from outside.
So as our sister said earlier, there are job opportunities in the country, yes, but a lot of people want to work in the offices. So what would you say, like, so let's say it doesn't start that way. There's a way you should start below. So for them, they're usually targeting the offices. So what would you say about that?
South Sudan currently is facing a challenge of youth unemployment. But before we give the reasons why youth haven't gotten into these opportunities, we have to look at the literacy level of South Sudan. Only 32% of South Sudanese have degrees and have finished Form 4. So this also contributes to the development of the country. We can't manufacture, we can't be in service industries, and that's why you find most of the time these things are taken over by foreigners. And the moment youth are not employed, they will engage themselves in illegal activities. They will be recruited by those people called rebels, those people who criticize the government. And the moment they engage themselves in such activities, it will worsen the situation. Humanitarian situation in South Sudan already is dire. The food shortage, displacement. You find on your way to Uganda, you are robbed by youth, your fellow youth. Why? Because they don't have employment, they don't have jobs. And it is up to the government to be able to create a conducive environment to attract investors and for youth also to create self-employment.
So let's talk about the current government now. What do you think of it? Like, is there any positivity in it, or?
The current government claims to be giving youth opportunities, and from the look of things, it's not doing enough. It's trying to promote youth and bring them into the governance and leadership. But if you look at another angle, they bring in one of their own. President, we start with the president, the daughter being the special envoy to the president. Waniga, the son, is there. And others, even General Kuel, the daughter, is a minister as we speak. That's not giving youth opportunities. What they are doing is they are bringing in one of their own family members, and then after that, they retire when they know everything is safe.
So what would you say about it?
Thank you. What I would like to say about the current government is, first of all, myself, I don't complain of the current government because of 1, 2, 3. My complaint always comes that are these people that they're electing, are they giving us the services that we want? Because I believe the government will exist even the time they will leave those offices. The government of South Sudan will continue in existence. Apart from this current thing that if any South Sudanese, whether will be the daughter of the president, if the daughter can be able to give the services to the South Sudanese people, then I think there is no big problem on that. But what they need to look is, the government is not a family affairs. There are 64 South Sudanese tribe with good number of educated people. They can also try to bring from different communities to see, is the problem, is it because these people are our relatives that they're not giving the services to the South Sudanese? So to my point is, any person who is a South Sudanese by nationality can be elected to any position, regardless of where you come from. If your uncle is the boss of, let's take for example, the daughter of His Excellency, the President General Salva Kiir Mayardit, she is a South Sudanese. She can serve in any position, but the question is, does she give the services that she was assigned to give the South Sudanese people? Because where we go around is these people going into offices in the name that I was elected by my father, so I know I'll not be fired whether I'll do the job or not. That is where we, the South Sudanese, that we don't want such a thing. Whether you come into office, you should come as a public servant, serving the people of South Sudan, not the interests of who elected you or who appointed you to that position. The people of South Sudan need services, and they must be given those services because all the sovereign powers belong to them. A leader is called a leader because he's ruling over the people. If there is no people, you are not a leader. So they must look into that. And then the government should have a channel of communication between the civilian and the government. If I told one of the leaders are not doing well, how do we communicate our grievances? For example, the Minister of Education. If today we want to ask the Minister of Education, where are the schools that you promised that once you are appointed, that you will bring those schools? How do we communicate those grievances? Because we are not allowed to picket. We are not allowed to demonstrate. We are not allowed to protest. So how are we going to communicate? Even in your own houses as a father, you have a way of communicating with your children, with your wife. You know what to say to your wife, you know what to say to your children. So we as the children of South Sudan, how do we communicate with our government? That is the questions as the young people we have been asking ourselves. If we are not involved, how do we communicate? We don't have schools. We need them. How do we tell that we need the schools? The Minister of Defense, our children are dying, being killed by rebels, being killed by people who not even rebels of SPLA-IO as people proclaim, but people who take firearms. How do we go and complain to those people and tell them that our children are suffering? That is what we need the government to look at seriously. I think that is my view on the current regime, and they must accept the truth. The truth shall forever be the truth. That if we said you are not doing the right thing, not because we don't love you. You are a South Sudanese, you are a leader. Because of the love we have for you, that's why you are in that office. So we need you to accept the truth. If you are not doing the services, you are not giving us the services, we shall boycott everything. We say, you are not giving us what we want.
That's actually a good thing. And I would like to ask, like you said earlier, we as youth, we should be given like an opportunity to go and protest. Yes, we want to, but do we have the freedom?
Now, on the issue of freedom, since the time our country gained independence, there is a man who sang a song that "Free at Last" by Kanje J. He said the freedom has come today. They try to colonize us, to do away with our culture and all that. The freedom that we have in our motherland, we are more than free because we are at home. No one should deny us any freedom for whatsoever reason, whether you are in the high office or not. You should never deny any other South Sudanese any freedom. So the same song that was sung by Emmanuel Kobe, saying celebration, you only celebrate when you're free. Look at this, because Emmanuel Kobe said in Arabic that Shemis Talafi Beledianatani Mabakorik, that word says that now I will never cry again. So freedom comes when we don't cry. Freedom comes when we don't see ourselves as enemies. Freedom comes when we don't criticize the ruling government. We only correct the ruling government. For example, if today we want roads in our country, there is a certain minister that we know was appointed by the president. We need to go to that minister and tell the minister, look at these roads. Where are the roads? You are given the job by the president. Then now the minister should go to the president and know that people are complaining. We cannot complain to the president, we complain to the ministers. So that these ministers, if they are not working, they give us good South Sudanese patriotic children to give us the services that we want. So the freedom lies that we say the truth. And that is what I will say. The freedom that we want in our nation is the freedom of being able to speak, being able to correct one another. Telling you that today you are doing it the wrong way does not mean that I dislike you, I hate you. No. Because I want you to do it the right way. So that is the freedom that we want. That if we want to protest, the government should have a way that if these people have a problem, they should air their grievances through this way. And if it is protest, let us go and protest in a certain place. If they don't allow protest, then what do they allow? They should tell us what they allow, so that we should have a way of having the freedom that we want.
Definitely, we the youth, we are expecting much from the government.
Yes.
And like I've been seeing social media, since One Motherland is usually more focused on peace.
Yes.
And there are people out there talking about tribe, preaching tribe, being tribalist, and then they were talking about the, let's say, the Nasir massacre months ago. And then people came out frustrated, talking about tribalists, and the government is killing civilians. So what would you say about that?
What I would say is a government is the government of the people. And the people exist to submit to the orders of the government. If there is a way that we can correct the orders from the government, we must table them. A government today will come and say that we have a problem, like the incident happened in Nasser. I term it as a misunderstanding to my point, because all those children who are involved were South Sudanese. The military, these are sons and daughters of South Sudan. They went there and died. Those children who were killed, whether they are from the Red Army or not, they are South Sudanese. There could be other ways that the government could have maybe approached the situation. And also, these civilians must also know that once a government wants to take its operations, we should always learn to submit, because we are working with the government. We are working with our people. The government exists because of the people. So it was a misunderstanding that led to lives, that led to loss of lives in the South Sudanese children. So the Nasser massacre, it's something that all of us don't really understand. But we thank God that it has come to an end, because we cannot imagine our own children being killed by our own government. And then the children who are in the government are also our children as South Sudanese. So if the government want to any operations, I know a government has intelligence, that they should send their intelligence to the ground and do at least good investigation and know. And this Red Army and all these military men who have their own weapons, a country is not built based on violence. The arms, the firearms should be for the government. We the civilians don't have the rights to have weapons with us, because we are protected by the government. But the government should also promise these same people how they are going to protect them after disarming these people. Because I realized that the problem was the government was coming for other operations, not even coming to disarm the civilians. There was other operation that was to take place. So that big misunderstanding left a big gap in our hearts today, that our children have died, and we will never wish any South Sudanese to die in such a scenario ever again in our country. That's why we must be very strong, be together as one people. If there is any problem, let us focus on eradicating the focus.
So what would you say about it?
Okay. What I'll say is that South Sudan is known as the dark, tall, slender. That's how the world sees us, yeah? Because especially when you walk in the streets of Nairobi, the Kenyan people, they only know one tribe or two. Because according to them, we've not talked about our tribes to them mostly, because we identify as South Sudanese. If you meet me and you ask me, who are you? I'm Silvia Dow. Which tribe or from which country? South Sudan. I don't go into detail because these people don't know that much. So as individuals, we already know our tribes. You know where you come from. That you cannot steal or take away from everybody. Because they say, mwacha mila ni mtumwa ya. That's a Swahili word for whoever lives culture is a slave maybe to civilization or anything. As in an individual, in your heart, you know you are a certain tribe, Dinka, whatever. You don't have to go and start misbehaving and saying that I'm from there. No, we already know you are South Sudan. So as you come out to the nation, come out as South Sudanese, not as a certain tribe. Even when we register in school, we don't register as Dinka or whatever, South Sudanese, Somali. The country, we represent the country. So, and if you look at DNA, I'm a medical student, there's nowhere it's written Dinka or whatever. The blood being shed is that of a human being. So let's be humane. Let's put tribes aside. Let's be humane in everything we do. Ask yourself, if I do this to this person, will I feel okay if the same thing is done to my brother or sister? See everybody as your sibling, relate well with everyone, and mostly love South Sudan. It's young, yes. It's lacking some things that we've seen in Kenya, we've seen abroad and other places, yes. But the best kind of, is it called, the demonstration, it's going to the ballot, not the bulleting. Let's put the guns aside. Let the nation bring a new system whereby they know their people. Let's have that data. We know that people are going to school. What are they doing in school? After graduation, we have certificates, yeah? The university remains with our certificates and everything. Let it be known that so-and-so have studied this and this. And if there are any opportunities in the government, may they advertise it. Let not just here, wake up tomorrow and be like, the president has selected this one, the president have appointed this. There's members that the president can appoint, but there are other things that should be left to the citizens. There are other job opportunities. And as a citizen, as we live in South Sudan, there's people living in Shirkat, people living in Gudele. They know themselves. They know who is educated, who is well.
Let's talk about the governance of today in South Sudan. And we'll also like to hear about the youth in the South Sudan. So tell us about it.
Governance in South Sudan is not that stable. The government in South Sudan is not stable. And in relation to youth, we are 90% of the population. And the moment the larger population is excluded from leadership, it creates a big problem and a void also that needs to be filled. Right now in South Sudan, some scholars, political scientists, and other commentators describe South Sudan as a failed state, if to an extent of comparing it with Somalia. Why? Because the government of South Sudan today can't control half of the country. Half of the country is under control of rebel group and militia. It shows the extent of which the government system and institutions have failed. Also on governance, we need to be able to differentiate the sphere of influence between the civilian and the military rule. When we got independence in 2011, General Salva Kiir is a military guy. He should have remained in the barracks and hand over power to the civilian people or the civilians, which wasn't done. And today, the kind of leaders that he puts in gubernatorial seats and MPs, the qualification is that you must be a general, a police commissioner, a commander. And that's why you see the country is not going as we expected. In 2011, we had high expectations and we anticipated a lot that we are now an oil-producing state, but everything is opposite as we thought. So it's up to the current government, led by President Kiir, to include youth in leadership ranks. For example, you will find the minister in charge of youth affairs should be someone below 36 years of age. And also, youth should be able to come out. We have to air our views also. We have also failed as youth. We are not speaking enough. And it's our future that some people are playing with. So to some extent, we have also failed as youth. Yeah.
So what would you say about it?
What I would say about the current government is they should, at least many times that I advocate for, is the government of the people must work with the people. We are patriotic South Sudanese. When we came up with this idea, we were at the university ground. We were 3 of us. We had a discussion that what can we do for us to transform our country. All that we did all that because we want our country to go forward. No one is supporting us. Even if I told today that any government official want to maybe join us, they are free to join us in the name of One Motherland Initiative, but not to finance anything. We don't need any support. We need the support from South Sudanese citizens. We need actually the youth to support us to unite. And we need to come together. Look at this. During our national basketball team, when they were playing, the unity that was there, it was super strong. And some people will say, oh, they are being funded by someone. When these people were struggling, they struggled by themselves until the time now they reach to a national level. Now there are stars. They are playing against big teams. So as a nation, none of us should think that there is someone supporting us. Even the government officials have no idea about us. Even any person who is outside have no idea about us. And we are not willing, and we are not going to submit to anyone who is going to support us. But all we want is the support of the South Sudanese people, not individual. If you want to support us in terms of finance, we are not ready for that. Support the South Sudanese first. Look at the lives that our people are living in Kakuma. They need support. Go to other refugees camps. South Sudan is the only country that has civilians in all the refugees camps. Go to Ethiopia, go to Chad, go to Uganda, go to Kenya. So if there is any support, support the people of South Sudan, not us. We as One Motherland Initiative, all we need is the support of South Sudanese to join hands together as we work together.
So before we conclude, I would like to know, are we expecting a project from you guys? And what advice would you give the young people?
Our visions being very strong. We have the vision that we need to see South Sudanese like we need to see South Sudan like any other developed nations. We need to see in the next 5 years, we need to see South Sudan to look like Kenya. We need to see South Sudan to be like even better than Kenya, if I would say. That is the vision that we have. Our vision is to unite the young generation. And our message goes to these young men, that wherever you will meet this message, we always say, preach the gospel of national unity. Let us work together and be one people. So what we are talking about as a nation that we want, our vision as One Motherland Initiative is to bring together all the 64 tribes and eradicate this issue of tribalism. And we have our mission on how to bring these young men and women together. And that is what we are going to work on. That is like our projects that we have the plans for it. That this vision that we are going to work on is on how to bring these people. I would like to also give the mic to my good friend, Morris, aka many known to many as Mobutu, to explain in details the mission that we have, or it's like a project that we are working on.
Thank you, Talibania, on the mission and the project we are working on. I will give it at the end, and I want Silvia to contribute a bit on it before I give it the mission and then my conclusion.
Thank you, Mobutu. For me, the advice I'll give out to the youth is that social media is very powerful. You can address your matters with so much wisdom without using propaganda. Don't be sold or don't buy into propaganda without facts. Then use your voice in a way that you're going to motivate, you're going to educate, and mostly relearn whatever you've been taught. Because most of the things that we know about South Sudan is rumors. We've not traveled yet to South Sudan, especially those born in diaspora like us, born in Kakuma, born here in Kenya, born in Australia or wherever you were born in. Learn that There are people who are out there selling their agendas. So as you're going to buy from anybody, be wise. Don't be sold into propaganda. Don't be used as a weapon. Because your knowledge is the most powerful thing you owe, which no one can take from you. So use your academics, use your pen and paper to motivate and to leave a legacy of peace. And that's the greatest thing you can do for yourself. So that 10 years from now, you can look back at your social media, everything you've posted, everything you've learned, and be proud of yourself. Because right now, because of the chaos, there's so much hotness and people want to be seen as contributing, and most are not doing much. So be wise.
As One Motherland Initiative, what we are advocating for is peace and unity. We don't want to have another 2014, or we go back to what Thomas Hobbes calls Hobbesian state of nature, where it's every man for his, a brutish and short life. We don't want such a scenario. We want a South Sudan known for being prosperous, development. We want to see South Sudanese celebrating each and every day. The moment you open to a channel like Al Jazeera, what comes is the children crying, starving. Nothing positive about South Sudanese is being spoken in the universities and other educational institutions. Everything concerning Sudan is negative. It's not pleasing. So, and it's up to us youth to change the picture that has already been painted by the international community and our neighbors. We don't want a South Sudan that you have to bribe, you have to give something to have an employment or an opportunity. A nation that is built on merits, where leaders are accountable for everything that they do. That's a country that we are longing for. And as I conclude, I would love to pose a question to my fellow youth. What kind of a nation do you want? Since we are silent, we are divided along tribal lines. We have already grouped ourselves into tribal cocoons. What kind of a nation do you want? What kind of a generation do you want to be? A generation that failed the country? Or a generation that raised South Sudan from the ruins of the old men in power? I understand why the country is like this if I look at it politically. One of my favorite quotes in political science is that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts. Our president wasn't like that when he was in the bush. He was a man of integrity. But today, things are different. So we have to learn from the mistake the old men are making and rectify them when we come to these leadership positions. Thank you.
So before we conclude, we'd like us to tell us about how, like, especially let's say the people suffering back in the camp, and we talk about the women that are suffering and also the kids. What do you say about that?
Very well, Tina. It's something that is big of emotions that when we talk about it, if I look closely, those who are bearing the suffering of what is happening in our nation, the children, the innocent children born to South Sudanese parents, together with their mothers. Because most of South Sudanese men, we have joined military, we have fought battles that we don't even know. We end up being killed. Those are left behind with the children are the women. So our mothers are suffering. If you look at Kakuma refugee camp, things are no better. Go to Dadaab, things are no better. Go to the camps in Ethiopia, things are no better. Go to the camps in Uganda. Things are no better. And those who are suffering are the women. And that's why I always say that our women are very resilient, very strong mothers. That all the youth, as we send this message to you today, the question is, for how long shall we allow our mothers to continue suffering? For how long shall we allow our young brothers, our young sisters, our elderly people to continue to suffer in such a manner? Because if you look closely in Kakuma, things are not okay. They barely even make even 1 meal a day. So it's so sad. And therefore, we call upon all the young generation to join us in this One Motherland Initiative, that may we work for our country. As the believers of Christ always say that the grace of the Lord is sufficient to all. The grace of our motherland is sufficient to all of us. May we not subject our people to suffering. That we are here for you. We want you to join us as we move forward as a nation. Let us eradicate this issue of tribalism, this corruption, nepotism, and all other things, because our people are suffering. Today, the refugees, they are surviving at the mercy of UNHCR. And we have our country that is just in our borders. Those who are in Kenya, we are bordering South Sudan. Do we have to suffer in such a way? That is a question that we need to ask ourselves, and we need to ask that what wrong have we committed that the Lord has to punish all of us in such a very harsh way? More painful, our women, the South Sudanese women, are not glowing like any other women in other countries. They have gone through hardship. So young generation, this is a message that I'm giving to you. Wherever you are, you meet this message, preach the gospel of national unity. May we fight for the good of our country so that we bring back these people who are suffering, that their lives have been subjected to suffering. Who among us would like to see their own mother, their own sisters, their own brothers suffering? It is so sad. And that suffering, it is us, the young generation, who are going to bring it to an end. Thank you. I would like to say we are One Motherland Initiative. We are proud to be South Sudanese citizens. We forever love our nation. We are ready to come back home and work for our nation. And to our leaders, remember the people are suffering. Suffering is too much. It has gone beyond even what we can even think about. So listen to that message. Ask yourself, shall we all continue in such a way? Today, even the food that we can take as South Sudanese, we don't have. Even those who are back home, they don't have. Go to Malakal, go to Bantu, go to Bor, go to Awil, go to Baragazal. The suffering does not identify whether you are from Nuer, Shuluk, Dinka, Kakwa, any other tribe. May we call for national unity. And listen to the song of Emmanuel Kobe that says, celebration, that Salamja, Anatani Mabokorik, Shemistala Fibeledi, Anatani Mabokorik. Those words should be in our hearts. May we look at the sky and see our flag, it's waving, calling for national unity. And we are preaching for that as One Motherland Initiative. We love you. We love our country. We bow to protect our nation, that may God bless the Republic of South Sudan. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you guys so much. It's been an awesome conversation. Thank you guys for preaching peace. And I hope our viewers out there, they are willing to preach peace. And if you are free to join the One Motherland Initiative, you're highly welcome. And thank you guys. And comment, subscribe, and like and share, and also give your views on the question that Mobutu asked earlier. Don't forget that. Thank you guys for watching. That's all for today. Bye.